Wednesday afternoon. I'm late. I'm very late. I've been out doing a new hobby, so please forgive me. But anyway, it's Martin's Test Shaves. I'm going to do a special. Yes, I am. First of all, I want to use my snobbishly very expensive, I'm sure, Gentleman's Preshave Oil, the Truefitt Hill. I just give this a quick rub because I haven't been convinced so far that pre-shaves, other than our famous Dapper Shave, which is of course the poor man's pre-shave, where you simply use a little of your existing soap or lather to slap on first. Anyway, there it goes. That's a bit of oil. I'm not going to bother putting any hugely hot towels and things on my face. I should, I know, but I won't. Anyway, that's the Truefitt Hill Gentleman's Pre-Shave Oil, which was a very kind gift to me from a friend of mine. I'm going to use, of course, a Truefitt Hill again. I'm going to use a Truefitt Hill wonderful lather, because they're soaps for gentlemen, and I'd like to pretend I am one, but it is only a pretense. So there we go. This is the third use, and every time I've used it, the aroma gets stronger. And so because of that, I'm going to use an unusual brush for me. This, I believe, is some sort of badger, maybe. Anyway, it's a Perrier safety razor since 1973. So we're on a little bit of a 1970s kick today, it seems. Using modern razors, modern brushes, probably from dead animals, and very nice modern Truefitt Hill soap. Anyway, slap on the lather. The first time I used this brush, it stabbed me. Didn't like it at all. And guess what? I still don't like it. Why would anybody want to stab their face with stiff bristles? Anyway, it does lather up well, so I'm not going to complain. It's just it feels like I'm rubbing my face with sandpaper. And you don't get that with a synthetic brush. However, be that as it may. Right, anyway, razors today are going to be rather spectacular. I can't help but reflect on the fact I've had one of these razors of a very good friend of mine who imported it all the way from Italy. And that was Gary. And Gary has one himself, which is, just dry my fingers, excuse me, which is the magnificent Mastro Livi. This is in the cocabola wood. So this is a very exclusive razor. It hasn't got a very high polish. It's not a mirror polish. It's quite normal for Mastro Livi to give a lesser than mirror polish. But it's mirror polished on the tang. So look at that. There's his signature. And it's roughly the same size, just under 6/8 of the other two, which I'm going to be testing. Now here is an absolute belter. This is the Friador. This is again stainless steel. This one I restored, and this one has now got, as it should have, the proper gold decorated panel on it. I had to swap the grips over. The scales were on another razor. Just don't ask. But anyway, I thought I swapped it with this nice case, which is the proper Friador case for the J.A.Henckels Zwillingswerk Solingen. Very nice. Very high quality indeed. I'm not a great lover of stainless, but if you're going to go stainless, go for quality. So there we are. There is a Mastro Livi cocabola, and there, around the same size, I think you'll agree. In fact, you can see a much higher finish. But there is an absolutely wonderful Friador. And this is, to me, one of the best finished razors I think I've ever seen. But anyway, be that as it may. If there's time, chaps, I'm also going to throw in a carbon razor as a little tester, as a comparison test. As you can see, that is a Ti and J.A.Henckels, and this is Le Chasseur. And this shaves quite well. Here's the interesting part, guys. They're all on 20K edges. So this is a true test of carbon steel, in the case of this little fella, and stainless steel. So let's start off with the Ti and J.A.Henckels and see how carbon, yeah, same as I used it last time, pretty good. In fact, you can see even with that one simple stroke, it is already taking off whiskey. I'm going to put a little more lather on because this pre-shave oil, quite honestly, doesn't seem to do anything. I think a hot flannel on your stubble is far more effective than any pre-shave oil, but then each to their own. This is a bloody awful brush, by the way. It's quite uncomfortable to use. It really is that bloody sandpaper. So this is going in the fucking bin. Anyway, I'm going to go back to using a proper brush. This is a proper brush. This is a yucky, and this one, thank God, is a synthetic. Anyway, I know you're supposed to spend days and days beating your bristle brushes with a rock and soaking them in, I don't know, pig's fat and lather and whatever. I haven't got the time. I want to be able to pick up a brush. Oh, the difference. I want to be able to pick up a brush that doesn't want to stab me. That is really, really nice. I've got to say though, as I've already said, the lather from this Truefitt Hill, it actually gets better every time I use it. This is only its third use from brand spanking new. Thank you, Jay, if eventually I ever see you again. Anyway, let's now try, as a harsh comparison, let's try one of the great razors from one of the earliest of all custom razor makers. This is, of course, Mastro Livi. I'm going to use a slightly different area. Oh, that's much better. Oh, dear me. Oh, I've got to use this more often. That is far superior to the carbon. Yeah, the Ti and J.A.Henckels, not very good really. I'm not throwing in any nasty aspersions against Ti and J.A.Henckels. I'm just saying my Ti and J.A.Henckels, my 5/8 Ti and J.A.Henckels, the chasseur, isn't very good at the moment. However, that's the whole point of being in this wonderful hobby, to be able to improve on it. But that's blissful. So that is the first pass on one side of my mush with the Mastro Livi, and yeah, it's extremely good. Let's now try the other side of my face with this. This is the same size blade. These are, give or take, about 6/8. Let's try this side, but this time with this wonderful Henckels. Now, it feels as good, but it's noisy because it's deep hollow. Rather reassuringly noisy. Now that's interesting. I didn't put any pre-shave oil on my neck. Perhaps I should have done. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's superb. That is just as good, maybe a little bit better. Anyway, that's first pass. Let's just trim up a little bit around here. I am missing shaving over my moustache area, but I want to grow out this thing, see what it ends up as. I'm thinking of naming it as a pet. All my angles are rubbish at the moment. I'm still trying to get used to this new camera angle, which you may or may have not noticed from the last few videos. It's doing well. Yeah, it's a new camera angle, new shaving angle, always a bit dodgy. Anyway, let's call that first pass hugely successful for both the stainless steel razors. So they're both getting a huge pass mark from me. It took me quite a long time to break the back of stainless steel edges. I'm still not saying I'm the best, I'm probably not, but either a 20K or a cocabola seems to work very well. I'm sure there are other natural stones that work just as well. I've got to keep saying this lather is superb. This is really, really nice. It's almost as good as Eric's, and that's saying something. That'll be my next show. I'm going to go back to using the Cajun blade, probably one of his wonderful products. Let's go back to our old friend. This is the Mastro Livi cocabola, and let me just tell you about some of the things you get with the Mastro Livi. One, you get a magnificent box. I mean, have you ever seen better? Now that is what you call a razor case. It's hinged, it's wooden, it's got, this is the modern one, so it's got foam lining. It has a wonderful little tool for torquing up and adjusting the torque on your razor, which every now and again you need to do. In fact, I did it on the other stainless just now. So that goes in there. You can then either end adjust the tension. Very, very useful. That comes layered in the bottom of the box. So yeah, he hasn't got the best finishes, Mastro Livi, but my goodness me. Let's go against the grain. Not that good against the grain. How strange. I mean, yeah, very adequate, but not that great. Bearing in mind, this is a very stiff grind. I forgot to mention, this is a half hollow. It's not even a generous half hollow. This is quite a shallow half hollow. So there's very little feedback, and it is a stiff blade. Whereas the Henckels, the Freador, although it's a noisy razor, as I like to call them, it has a lot of feedback, which I quite like. Yeah, I should have put some Preshave oil on my neck. There's a little bit of resistance there. Also, this lather's drying out fast. Let me wet it down a bit. I would say with the Truefitt Hill soap, one of the things I have noticed is because I do multi-passes with several different razors, it's remarkable that I don't get any irritation. So that's surely got to be a very good plus point. Yeah, it's good. Let me go over exactly the same area. Again, this time the Mastro Livi. You can hear there's hardly any cutting noise. This is a half hollow. You won't get much response from a half hollow. But it's comfortable. It's not dragging. Really, that's it, that's all done. Another reason I like to have a razor in each hand is that way I haven't got to stretch. Yeah, that's good. That's a good razor. So, I would say the Mastro Livi has a very different feel because it's a half hollow. In fact, it's only just a half hollow. And therefore, you haven't got the flex, which you do get with a full hollow. But let me try one more time, last time. And then we'll have a little trim up with the rather horrible little TI, which is going to go back to the stones. Because if it can't cut properly on a 20K edge, very odd. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I am deeply concerned about the horrible hurricane which is due to make landfall any time now in America, in Florida. I've got friends in Florida. This is not nice. You get warmth all year. I guess you got to pay the price. Yeah, it's good. Oh yeah, it's very comfortable. Cutting beautifully. Listen to that. That's against the grain and smooth. Ooh, it's smooth. Ooh, I'm getting a bit of a treat, aren't I? What have I done to deserve all this? Well, I'll tell you what I've done. I've got a new hobby. That's why I'm not doing quite as many videos. Can you see? There is my wonderful strop, which I've used. Only 20 strokes. And next to it is a piece of string. Piece of string is a Balearic sling. Now I've taken up Balearic slinging. Now, Sean would understand this because he's a bit of a martial artist. In a so-called civilized country, one is not allowed to practice one's martial arts unless it's in a dojo. Well, I'm not that sort of martial artist, so what I've taken up is unusual things. One is inline skating, as you probably know, and the other is going to be this, which is slinging, as in David and Goliath. You don't need a firearms license. It's perfectly lethal for hundreds of yards. Ask any Roman warrior or Greek. They've been used all over the world. South America used slings. Aztecs, Mayas, whatever. Anyway, the reason I've used a sling is because it takes the same sort of muscle memory as it does to use a straight razor. If the average person picks up a straight razor or a sling, they won't get anywhere. You've got to be prepared to put the work in. And if you do, the results are fantastic. So I'm a novice slinger. And if I get as modestly good with slinging as I am with shaving, I'll be very happy bunny. So it's all down to muscle memory, guys. I'm going to shut up in a minute and leave you all in peace. Just like to say, I've got some very nice razors this afternoon. The stainless steel, without doubt, are the best. That's the Mastro Livi, cocabola wood, all made from one piece of wood. No nasty little rivets to worry about. Fully adjustable, as you can see. Very clever man. And as he is the forefather of all the other custom makers. Anyway, here is the Henckels, the Friador. And I've got to say, I'm very pleased I bought it. It was a hell of a job to restore it. It had the wrong scales on it. Yeah, the wrong scales. I think it used camel bone scales from Mesopotamia or somewhere. Anyway, that's how it arrived. And it had a very, very faint gold edge. Now I've restored it. This is a beautiful razor. However, last but not least, I've got issues. This is my only carbon razor I'm using today, the Ti and J.A.Henckels. Perhaps it'll be happy now that most, if not 99% of my stubble has been removed. Perhaps we can try a last final pass. I don't know how many passes I've made, but quite a few. Let's try this little TI. Prettiest little razor. Yeah, it's not too bad. It obviously doesn't like heavy stubble. Yeah, it's much better. Some razors, according to their grind and their edge, aren't that happy with heavy stubble. Yes, believe it or not, mine is heavy stubble, as you can tell by this verdant moustache. But I would honestly say, so far today, cutting about, I don't know, 3 days of stubble, the stainless steel was absolutely superb, and the carbon wasn't up to it. They've all got the same edge. I believe they're all 20k. So, there you have it. I hope that was vaguely interesting. Muscle memory. That's all it's all about. Muscle memory. If you're prepared to put the time in, and don't buy stupid brushes like that. Get yourself a proper brush. Get a nice synthetic. It's only me. I know. I just won't put the time in beating to death some horrible badger bristle brush so that one day it might shave properly. I've never had the patience. So there you go, chaps. Martin's shave tests. Do subscribe and hopefully give me a little like tick. I've got very few new subscribers because I'm probably pissing people off. Anyway, guys, I hope this is vaguely interesting. If so, subscribe and thank you. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.